Moving away from your own parental experiences towards something that you have created, cultures of dignity. So tell us about that. How did you approach it and what is it all about?
Well, thank you for asking. I mean, so I've been teaching in schools for a long time and working with parents and writing books, writing parenting books. But I wanted to be able to give more systemic content to the people that were day to day with the children. And so I've always been working and developing and writing lesson plans for teachers, but I wanted to focus on how do we work in schools. And so I mentioned in the beginning that I do some work with international schools. And that's an example where I go and my organization, Cultures of Dignity, works with schools to not only give content, but also to deliver how do we do this? How do you create a sense of belonging in a classroom so that all kids feel like not only that they're welcome, but that they can take the academic risks to be right. Not to be right, to be wrong. So one of the things we know is if you feel safe in a classroom, you're going to be able to take risks of I don't know the answer, but I want to find out the answer and I'm not worried about people laughing at me or being wrong. So how do we create a sense of belonging and how do we help teachers do that? How do we help teachers understand the social dynamics of the classroom and how that impacts their teaching? Teachers tend to learn that social dynamics are a distraction to teaching, but social dynamics are actually just ever present in a classroom. So just as an example, if you have students who say they're playing soccer or football, I can't remember in India if it's called football or soccer.
Football.
Okay. So say there's some kind of play, time, and they come back inside and into the school, and there's been some kind of social problem that's gone on. Maybe a kid cheated, or maybe they're upset for some reason of what happened on the playground or during a break or something like that. And the kids come back into the classroom, the students come into the classroom, and a very common thing that teachers will say is leave that outside, leave the problem outside. Don't bring it into the classroom. That is impossible. You are asking young people to do things that are actually impossible for them to do. And then they come into the classroom and the social dynamics and how the class is going is impacted by that conflict. And then the teacher gets angry and frustrated and disciplines the children, they get in trouble, but they were set up to fail. They can't do it. And so it's really important for teachers to be able to hear themselves and hear, frankly, when they're contributing to the problem without realizing it and say, okay, well, how do we do this differently? How do I help children transition their bodies, their brains, when they're upset? How do they process their emotions? And then they come into a classroom to get focused. And so that's the work Cultures of Dignity does. So we do stuff on social media and technology and everything that everyone's dealing with all the time, but we're helping schools be able to help the student.